Greetings, welcome to Channel 6. I'm your host. It's hiking time and I have a new filming rig that we're trying out today. It looks kind of like this wonky thing. If it works out good, I will be using it. I'm also dispensing with the Bluetooth mic. So I should eliminate the Bluetooth mic issues, and this will pick up my thing. I'm going to let you look at, I'm trying a couple new things. Instead of my tool bag, which is full of holes. Now, I don't know how bouncy this is going to be. I'm going to adjust it here. I know it's bouncy right now. But I may have a way of dealing with that. While you look at some of the beauty, I might actually have to, well, I can't hold this and hike at the same time. I got to carry the bucket. I'm testing out my berry picking setup today. Looking for berries. There might be ripe berries out here. So, I'm going to pause here. I've got my breakfast. If I don't have time, when I pick berries, I don't have time to sit at the house on a bench for an hour and eat breakfast. So, I would have been out 45 minutes earlier today, but I had to hang some. I had to, oh, my hair's caught in the hair clip. And it doesn't feel, how did that happen? I don't know how these things happen. I have a spare hair clip with me, I think. I had one. Oh, I don't have it. I can't lose my hair clip. It was in the tool bag and I didn't get it. But, we got to have the power wire. The power wire, which I got to fit, isn't long enough for some reason. I have some problems. I got a power plug. I'm out of power plugs, and I got an extra one for my nature cam, and I don't think it can actually power the cam. So, ideally, this works like this. I can kind of see the chat, and I don't know how bouncy this is going to be, because this thing needs some adjustment. It's kind of bouncy bounce. I can always tip up and look at the chat. The bot has not announced me yet, but I'm going to do one thing. In theory, I can go over and check Twitch to see if I'm live. So I'm going to do that. And Twitch says I'm live. Let's see what we get. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Okay, I look like I'm live. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Okay, I look like I'm live. I don't know. Oh, yeah. Okay, I look like I'm live. I don't know. Oh, yeah. And we get that fun of replication. Oh, I'm out in the wild. That's okay. I can avoid doing that in the studio. I'm going to have to re-gig the power wire to go outside my shirt, which I don't like that idea, but I don't think I have any choice because it's not long enough. But I'm going to use it to steady this rig a little bit. Might make it annoying to take off. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I broke my other power wire. So it's charging now. That's good. I broke my other power wire. Actually, this isn't going to steady the rig. Okay. Got my trusty stick. I got my tea bottle. Gilligan's Island looking thing. Gilligan had his strap thing on. And we're going to see what this is like as I go check some berry patches. Starting with the berry patch right here. This is a pretty nice berry patch. We're just going to poke in here and see what we got. Now I can actually tell when I'm pointed. There's the ripening berries. Let's cut this dead piece out. We've got some here that looks blighted or frozen. It's probably not going to make berries. Without using the Bluetooth mic, I know that the mic will pick up all the nature sounds. Of course, it also picks up the traffic really well. I'm trying on my nature cam a wired mic to see if it cuts down on the traffic noises. It might not. But that camera might die because I don't think that charging thing is charging it good. I spent 10 minutes doing that. And just generally getting ready between the grapevines and the nature cam I put out at like 9:30, 9:45. I went out to put it out, so it should have been set up. But somehow the electric got turned off, and I had to figure that out and turn it back on. And between that and troubleshooting that in the grapevine, that was 45 minutes. So I think I'm within 15 minutes of leaving the house at 10:30. I'm just making my way in here, hopefully, because my berries are right over here. And this is going to be really bouncy. It's going to get bounced all over the place. I see a, oh man, hiker, I hope you check this out. I don't know if you can see them, but over there, there's a whole line of red berries. I got to figure out how I'm going to go in there. I'm going to have to go up over this. That's the only thing about that other rig was steadier. And I thought this might like seat itself and be steady. But I'm not sure that it's going to do that. As I step over this other stuff, I don't want to mash my new raspberries coming up, if there's any here. Because the patches stretch out and expand. So, nominally, I can get in right here. So I can pick these berries. Look how beautiful these are. They're right here. Look at this. Oh, I think this is going to be a good, I'm not sure if this is a good hiking rig, but it's a good berry picking rig. Because you can just watch me. Don't. This is what berry picking's like. And it's actually more like this. I'm getting poked in the back. I got biter bush back here, jaggers. I had a whole dissertation about things yesterday, and I showed off all my berry bushes. And then I found out partway through that the camera on Stream Elements had switched to the back cam, or the front cam, and it was just filming the rig the whole time. But basically, you reach like this. So if it falls into your hand, because once they're ripe, they'll fall off, and you just grab the whole bundle and just pick them out into your hand, throw that in your bucket. The only thing is like this, I'm not sure where I'm going to put the catcher to catch the berries because the filming rig's in the way. I might be able to use the rig itself. Okay, let's try hiking with this. I can't actually see. Oh, look at that. So this berry patch grew in together. The blackberries and the raspberries grew into each other. And I don't want the blackberries in the raspberry patch. There's blackberries all over the place. So I'm just lopping those out so I can come in and pick. Blackberries, we have a whole hillside. We have about 2 rather large raspberry patches and a bunch of small ones. So the blackberries don't actually need to be in here. And the biggest thing I consider is not cutting down the new raspberries. And I'll come out here sometime and do some maintenance. I need to be able to get in over there too. I'm slowly working my way around and making my picking paths and everything. I think I can get in through here and just basically, I don't like any blackberries around my raspberry patches or wild rose bush because they won't stop growing, and they'll clobber oh, I can't get in here. See, this is the problem I had last year. There's a vine right here. I don't have an easy way to go in there. Just finding once this stuff starts growing, in the wintertime you look and it looks easy. It's like, oh, I could go in through right there. Well, now it's like, where's right there? I don't know where right there is. And down at this point, the new berries are up like this high, like 3 feet. So you can actually see them, and there shouldn't be much chance of stepping on them, but there's small ones down there too. And I need to make my way in. These weeds will just keep growing. They don't stop. Okay, I can get to right here. I can pick these. I can pick this whole arc. I don't know what you can see, but there's a whole arc here. I'm going to pick this whole area. This is a good picking area, and I'll get the other side from over there. But these blackberries, no. In the old days, they called it husbandry, taking care of plants. I guess animals too. It's an interesting choice. It's an interesting choice of words, calling it husbandry. That's an old one. Okay, that looks pretty good. That's pretty good maintenance in this area. One thing I could do that I hadn't thought about, I can actually strap this rig down, but I don't think I have anything to strap it with today. I brought a bungee cord to strap it to a tree for when I want to film my break. But it's not, I don't think it's long enough to go around Chonky Boy here. I say Chonky Boy, but there's probably a good few million people out there that would like to have my level of chonk. See, my tree strap. I'm going to see what it feels like. Yeah, that's too tight. And I have my foam lanyard, but it's a shorty. I grabbed some fresh raspberries on the way out. So I got those for breakfast. I got raspberries, chopped dates. I got watermelon yesterday, a banana, and some figgy Newtons. So, essentially, we're just going to have to deal with bouncy cam today. And then in 2 days, I'll bring a proper strap for it. It'll bounce a little bit anyways, but hopefully not too much. I won't know until I actually watch it, because just walking around will bounce it. You know, I ought to be able to find a little piece of vine to tie it back with. I got the MacGyver skill. I need a green vine. I'm going to go down this way. I think yesterday, 2 days ago, I just tend to think of picking as yesterday when it was 2 days ago, because I ran yesterday. But last hike, I said we'd go all the way straight out back. Oh, I found some vines. Let's see if we can find one to MacGyver. This isn't just a hiking trip. This is like woodland instruction. This is my vinage here. I'm hoping it's supple enough to do this and it'll hold. It grew up through this dead tree part. Dead thing. I'm going to take that out and get that off of there. And we're going to take what God provided us and see if it does what we want. I'm just going to go all the way down here and see. We'll trim back this extra, get the tree part out. I'm going to be walking around here like Treebeard with this vine strapped around. So this is the vine. I'm going to use the supple part, and I'm going to see if I can do a wrap with it around little chunk here. And hopefully it'll work like a bungee cord or something, or a strap. I'll have to try and find a strap. And I'm just going to wrap it around itself the way it was curled around the I put it underneath my tea bottle holder, so that's good. I've got a new water bottle. I was bleaching it out. It smelled funny. Okay, there we go. Let's do a little introspective. This is your host. How did it switch that? This is my fashion statement to hold the rig down. That's the rig. This didn't actually come with it. I got this off another one, and I want to buy a couple more of those. They come with a little suction cup. This is my backup hiking hat from my theater. They got this one year as our swag as stagehands, and it's like stagehands wear all black. It's great with this shirt though, it matches. So, let me bring the chat back up. I'm actually, since I'm here, hey hiker, what do you think, huh? let me take you back to the front view. I hope it's not too bouncy. I just hey, it got rid of that. Where did it go? Oh, if I minimize, yeah, tell me about it. The vine. Okay, so I'm live then. You can tell me. Yeah, I was gonna go check Twitch because it Stream Elements will drop out and not tell you. So, and it's got buttons that can stop it. All right. I've decided to bring a bucket for my berry picking purposes just to see, because I usually have a canvas bag, but I want to see what it's like carrying this, and then my banana won't get mushed up and I have something to sit on. So this is a little bit more stable than it was, because it was bouncing all over the place. It's still going to bounce, but normally we're off. 2 days ago, I checked a big patch. I checked a couple of patches. I actually worked in one patch clearing some dead trees and vines. The vine's poking me. And the nice thing is I can check hikes. This way, with this, I can actually check the chat. Before, I couldn't check anything, and if it messed up, I didn't know. And then when I'm done, I'm going to download this and watch it and see. I'm not using the Bluetooth mic today. And I have a wired mic, but I left that on my nature cam. I want to see if it cuts out the traffic noise a little bit, because I can't figure out what to do about that. Whereas technically this is a nature cam too, just a mobile one. These mics in these phones, as long as you're close by, they're pretty good. So I think I'm going to go with that. And then I don't have the Bluetooth battery drain. Speaking of which, I turned off Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and there's bugs all over. This big tree here, are we looking at it? Yeah, it's there. It's kind of my break spot. Yeah. So I stop here and just, when I come by this way, in or out. Okay. We're charging? Good. Sometimes I like to just stop here, and it gives you a chance to just stare at this viewpoint without it bouncing all over. And there's a little berry vine here, but I like to stop here and just enjoy the moment. And the traffic sounds peaceful, so we'll have a little pause here. It's not time to eat yet. I have a feeling the vine is a one-time use. I can actually almost read the chat like this. Oh, hey, someone else is here. Merlin, is it Merlin? Hey, cool. Some of the font, some of the colors are harder to read. I'm at a tree, Merlin. Welcome to today's hike. I'm out here at a tree where I like to just stop and pause sometimes. So we're just going to sit here for a little bit and enjoy the scenery and the sounds. No talkie. I don't know if you can hear it when the traffic is calm, but I hear about 5 different kind of birds at least, maybe 6. One thing I really like, see if I can point it out, the locust tree here, where's my stick, is the way the sunlight comes through those leaves. That's locust tree leaves. It's got a branch going out there. I really like the way that looks. It just lights them up. People spend all their time decorating their houses with this and that and putting art in it and kitschy furniture, and some people even pay people to do interior decorating. And this is out here, just sitting here, just made, natural. All this beauty, just waiting to be enjoyed. And we live in these little wooden boxes and stone boxes and metal boxes, and we go and work in them and just sit there, surrounded by the stale machine processed air. Hopefully I can encourage some people to come out here and see what they're missing. All right, get the bucket. Hopefully I got the trekking shaft. No, it's my bot. I can't actually see what the emotes are, Merlin, but thank you. I'm sure they're appropriate. Okay. The rig is steadied by the vine, strapping it to my body since I didn't bring a strap. Wow. That is a big chunk of poison ivy right there. Look at that guy. He's going for it. Oh, cool. Okay, let's get out to the berry patches. I decided to try and go for the far berry patch today. I'm getting down to my ideal, leaving the yard at 10:30. But today Mom wanted to strap some grapevines up, so I did that. And I'm having issues. I'm running the nature cam. I'm just filming it. Ooh, let's go this way. I'm just filming it. But I had to buy a new charging plug. I've run out since I got them all over the place now. Ooh, can you hear the bugs? They make noise all the time in the field, and it's a little low hum. I like that sound. We're taking a little shortcut because it's easier. I need to go buy the berry vines on the way, but this is a little bit quicker. I don't think any of them are really that ripe yet. Me and the deer go through here, so it's somewhat passable. I'm trying to let that grow up. I got an entrance right here. I think we'll go this way. I can check those vines on the way back. I'll try to take that path through the second patch. I named my patches. The gold patch is where I was 2 days ago. It's up on top of the hill. Was that 2 days ago? I can't remember. I was there recently. It's probably in one of the videos. A couple years ago I was up there, and I was just hit by this gold euphoria, like this light surrounded me. It was an awesome experience. Or the top of the hill patch. Actually, the first patch I discovered is over there. I found it in October when I came back, but I didn't find it in the picking season. That top of the hill patch, once they were ripening up, I found first. And then I got this huge patch up here. It's actually a collection of patches. I kind of call that the second area, even though it's more like 12 or 14 or something. This is a little area. Yeah, up here, right up in this light, there's about 3 or 4 nice sized patches all conglomerated together. The interesting thing, 35 years ago when I was a youth walking through here, it was all like it is over here. I'll show you. It was all thick woods, and the berries only grew on the periphery. And about 16 years ago, I came back to visit. I was still living in Florida, and they had bulldozed all this that you see here, where my stick is waving. It was a field. And I don't know if they did it in 2004 or 2003, but in 17 years, this has come back. And there are berry patches everywhere now because they can grow. They'll grow in the dark, and these berries here are about a week behind the red ones, maybe 2. It's really nice that they grow in a cycle. So I'll be able to pick for about 3 weeks, and then I'll be able to pick blackberries for a week. Maybe 4 weeks of raspberry picking, depending on how I do it and how it goes. Because I get tired after about 10 5-hour sessions every other day tires me out. Ooh, spice bush. This stuff right here? No, that's not it. Are you it? No, where is it? I went through it. I think this is the same stuff. This stuff right here has a really fragrant smell to it. My mom's got a bush in the yard she calls a spice bush. It doesn't grow anything, but man, it smells really good. It almost has a citrus smell to it. It might be related to citrus. So, I'm deciding which path I'm going to follow to the far reaches. I think I'll actually go check a patch. The person that owns the property has a hill over here. Their house is on top of this hill. And there's a patch right by their house, and I give them a couple containers of berries every Dude, I can go this way. I'm kind of exploring an option on a path here. The deer use this path. I don't go this way too often. I go around, but it's up around the other way. Deer are pretty efficient at picking out paths. People think animals don't know anything. Animals know a whole lot of stuff. We just don't understand it because we don't think in terms of what they have to think. So I'm going to go down this way through the wild rosebush section here. That in the wintertime, you can go almost anywhere through here. See this? Where there's just a little bit of green down on the ground and these big trees making all this shade. And especially up the hill, maybe you can see up in there. The whole thing, maybe 20, 30 acres. From the field we walked through all the way back to this road, and from the main road out there back to where we're at, was all covered with that. And at some point in the 90s, they started cutting it down. I joined the Navy. I got sucked in by the promises nuclear power makes of a big paycheck when you get out. Just to find out that after 3 Mile Island, they stopped building nuclear power plants. So there's a ton of competition for those high-paying jobs, the power plant operator, the reactor operator. And I never quite made it there. But I was going to come back after I got out and buy the property here. I figured I'd have enough money. And then I found out that sometime in the 90s they started cutting it down because Terra server came online, and I grabbed a satellite photo and half of it was cut down. And the road up the hill used to be a Red Dog road. Well, it's paved now. I don't know if you know what Red Dog is. It's a mining byproduct from some of the process. I think it comes from the coke oven portion. I'm not sure about that. It's a red substance, rocks, probably cooked something or other. I'd actually have to look it up. But they paved it and they sold the property along the road and built houses. So there's 4 or 5 houses up the hill now. It didn't used to be. There's a little patch over here. This has been a pretty nice patch the last few years. It doesn't look as good now. And I see a couple chunks of wild rosebush. This is a walnut tree. These smell really good. Oh, I love the smell. They're black walnuts. I love the smell of those trees. I'm making sure I'm not tromping new ones. One's already gotten bumped. This guy is getting partially cut off. I need to get in the other side. Oh, it's a thing I took down a couple years ago and it's coming back. They don't stop. Nothing stops out here unless it's just scorched earth. It doesn't stop. Oh, there's a piece I need to get there. I don't see any. I see a couple red berries. Basically today we're taking an accounting of places where there's red berries. And clearing out our way a little bit. Picking paths. I'm working on picking paths. And sometimes I step where I know there's a path and it just goes down further than I expect and it's really going to bounce. Because it gets deceptive. When the green thickens up, it gets really deceptive how far down the ground is. Over here, as I navigate carefully, there are some blonde. That way there are some blonde raspberries, mutations, but I think the root might have died out. A couple years ago, a windstorm knocked this tree over. I used to walk through here. I had a couple paths, and it knocked this tree over, and you can see the reason it fell is because of this here rot in the interior. The outside looked fine, but the interior, and it's probably chewed up more now. Checking chat while I'm showing off the tree. So I just made new paths around it. I like this little area. It gets different ground cover. Like this grass hasn't been so prevalent. I think this is the stuff that clogs my throat up, the pollen from it. Sometimes it's a lot of this stuff right here. These things, just like little water plants. Sometimes it's other stuff. It kind of changes. There's May apples down here. Right ahead of us, that white little fluff in those, I don't know if I'm pointing to it, in those trees is elderberries. They make elderberry wine, and I always think they must have to pick a ton of those just to make elderberry wine, because they're little BB-sized things. They're maybe 2 millimeters. They're nowhere near the size of a grape. I finally found some wild grapes growing last year and tasted them, and they're really bitter. They're tiny little things. They're not much bigger than the elderberries. And this, I believe that we're looking at a place where deer have been sleeping, because I see piles of deer shit down here, right there. It's all over, and this is all matted down. The deer lay down at night and make little beds. And I think we found a big deer hangout spot here. That's pretty amazing. I've seen the biggest grouping I've seen is 14 at once. So there's a nice deer population around here. If our mechanized society breaks down and people don't go too nuts around here, me and the neighbors should do just fine. Between gardening, natural plants. Oh, I got to go through a spider web. Oh, he jumped away. He's gone. Well, he'll rebuild. They rebuild their webs almost every day, I think. Maybe some species of spider, but the ones around the yard, they make a new web almost every day, because you go through it and the next day there's a new web. Maybe just when they need to. And the camera got bulked. Yeah, this rig is a little bit different. I'm looking at myself and I'm thinking about taking away the green, but I realize it's my holder vine. It's actually working pretty good. I'm not gotten to the patch yet, but I'm near one of my favorite spots. I would come out here to meditate, and then when it came to me, I would come out here to communicate with God once he brought me to that point of awareness. So I really like this spot, and there was a path out to it, because I got this to sit on right here. I got this fallen tree I like to sit on, and there's a little stream here. It's not got much right now because it hasn't rained a lot lately. Yeah, I got fresh water too. If the water stops coming out of the pipes when it rains really hard, water comes up out of the ground near my backyard. So I kind of got it covered. I'm just, I think I'm going to put this battery pack in my front pocket. And then I'll just, with the battery pack in the front pocket, I might be able to use the power wire as a, let's see if that works out. No, that's not going to work. It's too short. So I just got a bunch of power wire. I'm regigging my wire here. 2 days ago, I broke a power wire, so I had to go buy a new one, and I had to clean out the charging port. It's too difficult to ungig everything. Let's see what this part looks like. Yeah, this isn't... This thing rigged like this, strapped down to my body, isn't good for... What I was going to do was take it off, but I don't think I'm going to do that, just because of the difficulty. I hear something flying around that might be hummingbirds, maybe. Some little birds fluttering around. So what I'm going to try and do here, I'm replanning as I go, since I have this rig strapped to my body. There's something over here flying around. I don't know what it is. I hear it fluttering. It's in there. Oh, I see. It's a bird in the water doing a bird bath. A little finch. I don't know if you can see it. It was right there. Okay, so this is the plan. New plan, guys. Watchers, viewers. I'm going to see if the new plan actually works. I just did a screenshot. Oh. We're adjusting the plan as we go. The plan is dynamic. But I don't want to take this rig off because of the way I have it strapped up. You got to watch because there's buttons on the camera you don't want to hit that'll stop your filming. Oh. I'm like, how am I doing this again? How am I doing this again? I'm not sure this is going to work. I got a weed here in the way. The way I originally had it was better. I'm figuring this out. We're MacGyvering on the fly because of challenges inherent to the process. Okay. Oh, that doesn't work the way I thought it did. This is wild. My bungee cord's doing things I didn't expect. I thought it's like one of those... It's one of these things. and it doesn't work the way I thought it did. I thought you just put the thing through the other thing, but it just lets go. I thought you just put it through there, but it just lets go. It just turns. So I'm trying to trap it, and it lets go. Yeah, I have an idea. Let's see. You can watch this stuff, and I'll do this. How in the world does this work? It like doesn't hold. It just lets go. And if it flips over, it just lets go. I'm confused. Oh, I see how it works. You actually stick a loop through a loop. I should show you guys how this thing works, because it took me that long to figure it out. So what you do with this thing is stick one loop into the other. Is it focused? One loop goes through the other, and then you put the wood bow in the other loop. Now let's see if I can do what I want. This was the idea I had, except I was going to take the whole rig off. Am I still live? I look live. It says I'm live. I don't trust this thing. Yesterday, or 2 days ago, no, when I filmed the philosophy hike that I sent you the link for, I said don't rely, and is it actually pointing at my thing? I said don't rely on this technology, and the phone overheated and turned off while I was filming. Okay, Mr. Strap here. You probably can't hear me as good now, so I'm just going to eat my breakfasty thing after making adjustments. I'll leave this on. This is a nice little area. It's shaded, but you get some sunlight around the edges. And yeah, I can scale my. I got a bigger water bottle than my tea bottle. It's aluminum too, so that I can. It's lightweight, and I can carry more water. I keep this in the shed with my equipment. I found it covered with ants today. They found it, my honey jar. It felt like such a Winnie the Pooh moment. We got flies, we got little bugs. I don't know what this is, but it's pretty cool. And, oh, strawberries. Oh, I almost lost the thing for the mouth. It fell off. I saw it there sitting in the sun. Let's put that in the bucket. I think I've lost 2 pair of glasses out here. I lost 1 pair of shade glasses, and I think I lost another pair. Things just drop out. You drop some. Oh, I've got, in my date chunks, I've got blueberries. I've got my, and I've actually got some, I packed way too much breakfast, I think, for my little hike. I've got some fig Newtons too. Well, the strawberries were a last minute addition because I had to walk by the little patch of those. Not necessarily a how-to on hiking and survival, but hey, while we're here, it basically is survival on a small scale. Just like a couple of hours, could be a couple of days, could be a couple of months. I love it here. The traffic noise just like dies down. You can barely hear it. I don't know how the camera will pick it up, but surrounded by bird calls. Burbs are having a little thing over there. You do eat some interesting things. When I eat the fresh berries off the vine, sometimes they've got bugs on them. Little, extremely tiny, extremely small little bugs. Berries still taste good. I can hear bees now. There are wild beehives out here somewhere. This is some kind of wild garlic or something. Take a break from them. Hair is coming loose from its storage. Do I see a new message? Okay, I'll see you later, Merlin. Have a good dinner. Enjoy. Well, the mosquitoes have found me. It was inevitable. When there's water laying around, there's mosquitoes out here. And there's water right there. The adults lay the eggs in the water, stagnant water, and they hatch. And the little baby skeeters grow. And then they come and find warm-blooded animals. I've identified part of my hair problem. My hat's loose. When you have unruly hair, hats are great. You keep it under wraps. And in the wintertime, they keep you warm. I don't know about a fashion statement. I don't think people wear enough of them for a fashion statement. I'm going to take the banana peel and put it in the berry patch so the berry patch gets the potassium. This is better than sitting on the bench in the yard. Figure out where my tea is. The mosquitoes say it's time to bring breakfast to a close. And I barely even got to the blueberries and the chopped dates. Well, the chopped dates can stay until next time. They're dried. Blueberries, I kind of got eaten now. When your breakfast turns into lunch for the mosquitoes, it's time to go. Rather, when you turn into lunch for the mosquitoes, it's time to go. So, to get this loose, in theory, all I have to do, this bungee cord is really wild. And is that upside down? Right side up. If you misorient the camera, Stream Elements doesn't care. It'll just let you film upside down. Okay, I have got to put the camera back on the rig. Oh, did that actually? No, it's right side up. I can tell by where the camera spots are because they're asymmetrical on this camera. Okay, let us get our power pack back in because it's been sitting here without power. Turn around. We're ready to go. Yeah, I like leaving the hiking rig on, especially with it strapped with this, because this vine's a one-time use. When I take this vine off, it's done. I'm actually going to store my glasses for now. So let's go find our next berry patch, because I guess we've already seen a couple berry patches. I'm just going to hike along now. I'll do philosophy later. Commentary. It's got some water flow here. It sounds so cool. Listen to this. There's just enough. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's trickling through right here. Right there. That's the trickle. I love that sound. Get a little bit closer. It's just a tiny little stream right now. This actually fills up a good bit more when it rains heavy. There's a spring up the hill. This spring runs almost year-round, so that's pretty nice. Some people might think this water's dirty, but I'll bet if you tested it for all the chemicals, it's probably cleaner than the stuff that comes out of your pipes. The stuff that comes out of the pipes, I drink it through a filter anyways. I have filtered water bottles. They got a filter right in the bottle. I figure I go camping, I can take those with me. I could drink any of this. Okay, on to the berry patch. We've had our little trickly trickle water. Back to hiking mode. We'll go this way. My trails are pretty easy to see. The deer trails are a little less obvious. This is a bunch of pine trees, old pine trees. They're dying out. I think these were here when I was a kid, some of them. Because I don't think they farmed this part of the hillside. Trippy Tripperson, I got to adjust the tea bottle strap. Oh, bashed the camera. I'm just going to see Chargy McChargerson. Oh, well, not like that. Oh, the mosquitoes are still after me. They don't give up. Yep, we're charging. I think we got enough power for the hike. Wow. Apparently my blood's pretty tasty, so it's time to get moving. I'm looking for a specific trail. A bunch of these pine trees have, that's all the further up it goes, have died in this area and blocked some trails. They fall over. Deer, why do you got to go right past the barbed wire? The deer don't care about the wild rose bush. They just brush past it. Wow. somewhere on the other side of this is a berry patch. This is a big old raspberry right here in front of my stick. They'll grow in the shadier areas, but they don't produce as many berries. Aw, dear. What happened here? I think some stuff fell down. Oh, we're out. Okay. We got through. We had to come backtrack. We had to backtrack a little bit. See, this don't belong here. It's fallen over at some point. This way. I'm stepping over berry patches. I'm actually not on the right trail, I don't think. It's hard to say. Things change a bit. But I don't feel like dealing with this guy right here. And I gotta step over some more berry vines. They grow straight up and then they fall down, they're across the path. This is the path. It's hard to see for all the weeds, but there's a big patch right here. What I'm looking for is red berries. This one's a little bit behind the earlier ones, so I don't see anything much red yet. It goes, I see them up the hill there. They're further up. Oh, maybe you can't see that far up. They're way up that way. But for some reason, I don't see my usual trail through here. And things tend to go downhill. The berry patches grow downhill. So they grow down over the trails. And it looks different. Stuff died. I see things that were here. It's up through this stuff up in here too. It doesn't look like it has as much this year. That happens. That does happen. Oh, and here's a dead thing falling down, dead tree part. Wow, the rose bush is just gone all over. I haven't been on these trails probably since last year. I don't think I did too many of them in the winter. In the winter, it's so easy. You can just see where you need to go. And then this stuff starts growing and you don't know what's where. I think we're going to down through there or that way. I hear one of them birds. They're pretty cool. Yeah, we'll go through here. Kind of inventing a new trail because it looks like the old ones got clobbered. Really, I think this is a deer trail. And we're kind of back down where we were, sort of. There's a couple of little patches up in there, but it looks like they're going to be really hard to get into. Once the main picking starts in about 10 days, I just go out to the big patches. This grapevine's got some kind of stuff. whatever, not blight, but whatever when that happens. Whatever the scientific term is. Out here knowing the scientific terms for stuff doesn't do you very much. Maybe a little bit. As long as you know poison ivy is poisonous and you can recognize it, and you know which food you can eat, you're all right. Well, it kind of helps if you're used to hiking around. This looks like it would make a nice camping spot, too. I don't think anybody ever comes out here because I don't see a lot of trash. Hunters come out here occasionally. They leave stuff. Where people go, you always find our leavings. Little bits of debris, this and that people don't think to pick up. Wow, look at that grapevine. This is a wild grapevine, I think. Right here. That's a huge sucker. That's been there for probably decades. So I'm actually kind of close to the other side. I just got to decide how I want to get there. There's different ways to go. Because there's a berry patch all the way out here at the end. And I'm sort of close if I just go hook around this way. If I go back through the trees, it's a bit further. And I'd kind of like to eyeball it because last year there wasn't hardly anything there. They occasionally like scale back and then they'll boost back up. They move around too. They'll die out in one area and they make new roots as they fall over. They grow up in an arc. And I got sneezy sneeze time. Oh, tissue. Oh, I guess I finally got some of the pollen in my nostrils. Here's some growing here, but in the shade of these trees, they're probably not going to make as many berries. And the deer probably have a way out over here, because this isn't one of my trails. I'm kind of exploring. I'm hoping the deer have a way out, because I don't. Oh, I hear one. He's over that way somewhere. I heard him running. I'm kind of hoping there's a little track back here for maybe farmer purposes or something. I don't think people come down in here too much. Oh, dear, what you do to me? And that don't look like a good way out. I should have stayed out over there. I can kind of see an opening. I just can't get to it. It's right over there. I can see where it goes out. I'm rumbling around through this dead stuff that the deer just jump over things. And their legs are gigged slightly differently than human legs. I'm going to get some dead stuff out of my way because the dead stuff is blackberries. Oh, I've gone through the, and rosebush. I've gone through the pollen. It clogs up your throat instantly. Luckily, I got my honey and my tea. I probably got in it over there. I'm just doing that so I don't have to sit it down into the bush. See, I want to go out through this path. It doesn't look too challenging, but there's a lot of dead blackberries and there's wild rosebush clogging it. So, let's see how it goes. We get out here and we can go up to these berry bushes. I should probably pause at some point. See, this is actually a dead raspberry here. Probably a root I didn't even know about. But what I've discovered is the big patches are what you want. Once it gets to the main part of the picking season, that's what you want. The little patches, they don't do you much. You'll get a little bit there, but you'll get a lot out of the big patches. Just hemmed in on every side by this dead stuff. Okay. Sometimes it takes a little bit of effort to get through where you want to go. If you always have easy paths, you're probably in a curated park. You go out in the wild and you don't have easy path all the time. Sometimes you don't have a path at all in it. It really got me. Wow. Okay, we're in this field of weeds. I'm going to check the chat in the time. Oh man, I don't understand this stuff. It like gets in your throat and it sticks there. I see a little sweat bee. It's not a bee, it's a fly. Let's see if it says I'm still streaming. Can't see what time it is. 12:46. Okay, good. Let's see, when did I start? About 11:30. Yeah, about 11:30, because I was hoping to be 45 minutes earlier, but I had to do a couple things. That's still pretty good. I've seen the big patch on the owner's hill. Wow, and I lost my, I hope I have a spare, oh man. Well, all my tissues have disappeared somehow. Oh, it's back pocket. Yeah, who would think of that? You can enjoy the view, maybe. It doesn't point up any higher. I don't know what it's pointing at. Wait, am I still live? It says I am. I hear a crow. I love the crows. So there's a hook around up here, and we're going to go into the berry patches, and there's a tree line up here we're going to go through. That's a little bit easier, although not completely easy. Not completely easy. So one thing I'm going to do is re-gig this power cable, because it needs to be loosened up, I think. I don't want it to get caught on stuff. Okay, we're still at 70%. Good deal. We still live? It says we're live. I will trust it. Stream elements could drop out. Maybe when I get back in the shade, I'll check Twitch. Stream elements can drop out and not tell me. I'm going to have a little bit more honey out of my honey pot. Oh, I was supposed to throw this. Well, bananas going out here. I'm trying to coat my throat good enough not to choke. Not to cough on that pollen. It's really challenging, and it's tempting to drink more tea, but I think I'm just going to leave the honey there. It clogs a little bit. So I know it looks pretty wild, but there's actually a better path over here that that we're going to take. See, I think somebody drives a vehicle through here. Still don't got it. Okay. Can't get it out of my throat. Oh, man. Whatever it was, I got really good. I can't stop it. Whole pile of wild rose. Oh, hey, watermelon works pretty good. Note to self: if you have watermelon, bring some spare. Maybe because it's big enough chunks. I'm trying to find my tissue again. I put it back in the correct pocket. Wow. It's amazing to me that something like this grass, some of this, the pollen can just wreck you. And people worry about bears, big animals, wild animals. Worry about the dang grass. Yeah, the watermelon is definitely the bonus. This is sure easy going. Okay, that's better. In fact, I think another piece of watermelon. I'm glad I didn't eat all that. The mosquitoes started bothering me. And Barbara probably ate it all. There's a maple tree up here, and the berry bushes grow under it. And I used to have a path I cut through. We'll see how that looks. We're closer to a road. Oh, I see red berries. 3 or 4 years ago, this area ripened up first. And well, the trees got thicker. But I still got a little path through here. The deer probably helped maintain it. Man, we got berries here. Maybe worth coming out here one time. It's harder to get here because it's the furthest point that I come to pick. But I'll probably come out here one time. We're here and today we'll make a picking path. Some people say walking through the weeds. I say making a picking path. Although it looks like Ducky McDuckerson here. Here's an old one. There's an old one. Get up here into the shady area, it'll be easier to move. Ooh, if I wanted them, I could have more vines. Okay. This is nominally one of my paths. I think I first picked this in 2017. I came all the way out here just to see what was out here. We'll go back the way I came in. Okay. Yeah, I'm scoping out all the berries. It's kind of shady here. It gets morning sunlight. But They still grow all right. 3 years ago, they were really good. Here's some of our patch. It has more down the hill. It doesn't have a lot right here. I see a lot of this blighted stuff that's not doing very well. That doesn't make berries, and I see a bunch of that. New stuff's coming up. But down the hill there, I see some red berries. This stuff just doesn't look that good. And of course, there's wild rose bush on the periphery. Is this a walnut tree? Yeah, this is a walnut tree right here growing up. Of course, we're underneath a walnut tree, so that makes sense. Go back this way a little bit. I've got that path, and I think I've got this path. I only really take much care from my main paths because I have to walk in those all the time. Now, 3 years ago, there were berries all along here. And I think these trees thickened up a bit and they just kind of faded out. The roots are still here, and they're making new things. Hey, hiker. Thank you. I don't have to touch Twitch then. I picked berries in this area, but it's kind of, here's some of the old stuff right here, but it's kind of faded out a little bit. It changes. I had a bad throat clog spell a little bit ago. Some of this grass pollen got in my throat and I couldn't get it out. I discovered that 1-inch chunks of watermelon work pretty good. Because back along here, this was my trail. There was a blonde raspberry vine growing in here somewhere. I don't know if I can find it now. 3 years, it can change a good amount. And I'm not really sure where the trail was to start with. Oh, I'm trapped. How did that even trip me up? Some people get the feeling when they come out into the woodland areas that it doesn't like them. And I could tell them that it doesn't have feelings. And you're just flummoxing yourself. But sometimes you kind of get the impression that you're not welcome. Yeah, there's some. See, I see a lot of this where it's got this like blight. Now, it might have been the May freeze. We had is that up in the cam? We had a freeze mid-May that was unusual because it usually doesn't freeze that late. And it was down to 32. It was actually a freeze. It wasn't just like a frost at 38 or whatever. One consequence of carrying an open bucket is you get dirt in everything. So if I want my watermelon, I'm going to eat this bug and this dirt. I unclose the bag. Some of that back there's got berries on it. We got a fly friend here. Is he in the camera? Where is he? He's hanging out there somewhere. He crawled around the side. Hopefully, I ate all my watermelon so I won't have that throat clog again. I'm deciding if I want to take the inviting path or go through the thick area. When I picked this area 3 years ago, I had well-established paths, but the last couple of years there hasn't been much out here. And it takes a good half hour to get out here. And that's a half hour I'm not picking. Let's take the path that looks friendlier. Well, it looked friendlier. Now it kind of looks like a dead end. Fortunately, I have a slight amount of deer skill that I practice, and I think I can slink through here. These bushes don't have jagged. Oh, spoke too soon. I got poked by a stick. Now this was one of my picking areas. I see some right down here. They're green, they're a bit behind. I see the wild rose bush getting out of hand here. The vines all work together. And they really do. We're under a walnut tree, I can smell it. Oh, I see some red berries over there. The thing is, once the season hits its main swing, there's not much reason to come out for this little bit that's out here. Except for the blonde raspberries over here. I got a bigger grouping. What do you think, hiker? Looks like closed paths all around. Halls, yeah. Usually the honey does me pretty good, but not, sometimes it gets pretty bad. I'm just glad I had the watermelon because the honey wasn't doing it. There's some, oh hey, I think I can eat that one. There's some up here in the shade. This one, I'm losing my phone. Now, I know there's a way through here, but this right here, that's ripe enough to eat. Oh man, that's a sharp one. Oh hey. I found another one. Nope, you're not falling over. Here's another one. This early, all you do is get to eat a few berries. Oh yeah, that one's really good. Just get the taste in it. In about 3 hikes, I'll have buckets. Maybe only 1 or 2 to serve. Oh, I have my picking containers. These are the containers I pick into. These 24-ounce cottage cheese and sour cream containers. I fill those up and keep them in the big bucket. See, I know there's a way through here because I cut it out. It's just tricky. And the things keep growing. I just have to slink my way through. I've just never done it with a filming rig before. Because I would come in and pick these berries down the hill here. Right on the other side of the hill. Ooh, this is honeysuckle, I think. Smells pretty good. It's just the configuration of the landscape has changed a little bit. These vines grow up and then they fall over. They keep growing and they make new hooks. Well, the vine got me. We might as well sit here for a minute. Now that we're down here on ground level. put the stuff back. My bucket. So, a bucket lid might be desirable. Although it'll be annoying to have to... There we are. Well, gravity is a funky thing. Do you understand the gravity of your situation? There we go. At least we call it gravity. That's a crabapple tree right there. I picked by these trees. I picked underneath these trees on the other side. There were some blonde raspberries over here. I wonder if they're still there. Yeah, these things right here, I got over one of them and the other one caught me somehow. That's a good place to take a break. I like how the traffic noises fade away and you can just hear the birds. I'm kind of hoping the animals make an appearance at some point. I get to see them, well, not every hike, but maybe every third hike I'll see a groundhog or a deer. In the wintertime, it's a lot easier to see the deer. You can see them like 100 feet away now. 8 feet in front of you, you got a wall of green. There could be 10 deer down the hill a couple hundred feet, and I wouldn't know they were there. Unless I hear them moving. Okay, let's see if we got everything. One. At least I'm wearing my glasses, so those didn't disappear. Okay, it's the third time I put the bag of watermelon, the bottle of honey, and the bungee strap in the bucket. Stay in there. I'm having some more of my chopped dates. I like the chopped dates that are salted with whatever. It might be sugar, but it makes them less messy and more palatable. A regular date, uncoated with anything, pitted, seems kind of roach-like, palmetto bug-like. I know you know what a palmetto bug is. People up here come down to Florida and see their first palmetto bug and about freak out. Because things are like, they're like the size of your fingertip. You're like, what's that? It's a palmetto bug. Oh my God, it's a giant roach. Run. It's a bug. And they don't bite or anything. It's not like you ran into a yellow jacket nest. I know this is the trail because this is the one I made 2 or 3 years ago. You just got to watch it because there's vines all over the place. Okay. And hopefully, if it empties out here. Yep. It closed up a little bit, but it's honeysuckle. We got some berries. These aren't ripe yet. Nope. See, I don't know how this thing switches the camera around. We got some berries here, but they're not ripe yet. I'd say these will be ripe in maybe 6 days, maybe 8. And I'm not sure what these are, so I'm not going to eat it. I think they're edible. I know I've seen animals eating them. But just because an animal can eat something, that doesn't mean a human can eat something. It looks thick, but there's actually a path here. It's just not visible because I haven't forged my way. Ooh, hey, hiker, a couple more berries. Am I still broadcasting? It looks like it. I'm out in the sun, so I can't see. But I got a couple berries. These are edible. They're just getting to that tinge of ripeness. They're a little sharper when they're this young. So I've actually had about 5 or 6 berries today. There's some growing up there. This is where, I'll go around this way. This is where a bunch of blonde raspberries grow. Let's see if there are any. Yeah, wow, there's actually a briar down here. I wonder if it's good. They've actually spread down the hill. Oh, my old friend, your friendly neighborhood living barbed wire. You've even got to watch cutting it out because you can get scarred up. Let's see. See if I still got, yeah, pointed the right way. That's good. Sort of trying to make sure I got the correct orientation here. The berry patch is moving this way, so I got to push over into this stuff. Oh, I smell walnut tree. Trap vines. Now this, a spoder web, this, I believe, is where I've been picking the blonde raspberries, and it might be these right here. This is where they were growing, but I won't know until they ripen up, because you can't easily tell the difference. Once the vines get dark, it's hard to tell. I think that vine right there is a blonde. And then over here you got regular ones. They all have the same kind of red-orange tint, except the blondes never turn purplish, dark red, dark purple. They're called wild black raspberries, most of what we have around here. Because I know this pile of wild grapevines over here is where they grow. And there was a little path going through that way, but I'm not going to push through right now. And I got one more patch to look into, and then I can head back. We'll stop by a couple on the way back. See, the deer kind of maintain this path, so I know where it is. And I'm mostly now looking around for one or two more berries to eat. I like the hike where you get a handful, and I usually eat those on the way back. So over here, will you sit here, Bucket? Up here, this area in the past has had pretty good picking. There's a sizable patch that was up here. And I've been in here already. But it's gone downhill in the last couple of years. It was also hard to get into. Even finding where to take out a wild rosebush piece is risky when you reach into it. I'm trying to get through the new stuff. But up in here, and I think the reason is the shade here has gotten thicker. Because in the past, this was more open out in the sun. And this, whatever this tree is, has put out more shade. Because there was a hole right through here. This was a whole patch, and there's like almost nothing here. There's like little bits. There's a little bit here, and there's a little bit over here. There's some still up in there. I can see it. Oh, the bugs? Yeah. Yeah, those things do make a buzz too, don't they? But right where I'm standing was just a big lozenge, like maybe 6-8 foot of patch. And there's just There's some up there where there's sunlight, and there's some down there, but right here is cleared out. I think it solidifies my theory that they don't like the shade as much. They'll grow in it because the new ones are growing right here. These are new raspberries. They're growing, but I see 3-4 berry pods, maybe 15 berries there and another 20 over there and a little bit on the ground, and that's it. And this was just solid patch that I went through. I'll stop by here maybe 1 or 2 times, but it's hardly worth coming in here now. Because I'm not going to pick but half a container at the most. And that's from this stuff down here. Where these are turning red. There's some over there. Going that way into the wild rose bush. It's an interesting contrast from my nighttime activities in the studio when it's dark outside to the sunlit, green, wild. I'm just going to take out you. This is a piece of wild poison ivy, and now I'm going to make sure to watch my cutters until I get them cleaned. But have the studio at night where I'm in control of the lighting, the camera position, everything. And to be out here in the daytime where I'm not in control of much of anything. Sometimes not even my own flesh does what it wants and trips. There's more of it. We got some up here. There's a little bit in here. Where's the trail? There's a little bit growing back here. It doesn't have much light. It's growing down this way. 3 years ago, there was some right in here. And it's just gone completely. And then there's some down this stream runs down the hill here. It's got a little channel. I gotta watch not to step in it. And I had a trail going out that way, but I'm going down the hill because there's patches. In fact, let's just find the channel. It's right here. It's easier to... Oh, there's water down in it. It's gotten deeper. I don't know if you can tell from up here, but the water at the bottom, that's 6-8 inches deep. This little channel here. Because this spring up the hill runs pretty much year round. If it's been raining in 3 or 4 days, it's got water in it. Oh, we got some rocks here. So down here somewhere I found blonde raspberries in the wintertime. And I'm going to see if I can track down and find them. I haven't been through here, so it's really thick. Oh, it looks like the deer have been here though. Down in here somewhere. Look like the deer laid down here on top of the... I'm surrounded by new raspberries, and I think when they start turning red I'll see them all, but they were in here. But one thing I figured out, just because you got vines in the winter doesn't mean you have berries to pick. And you can go around and look at the vines, but that doesn't mean that they have anything on them. Now down here I see some berries. Right in here, there's some here. They don't look like blondes though. And I know what I saw was blonde berry vines. Sometimes you can't tell until it's time to pick them. The first time I saw them, I'm waiting for these berries to ripen up. I'm like, man, these things are never going to get ripe. And then one day I picked one and ate it. And it's like, oh, it's ripe. as soon as I touched it, I could feel the softness. And then that's when I realized I had mutant raspberries. And then I went to the hardware store one day where they got the plant section, and I found they sell them. They sell the mutated variety. This is a real Dr. Livingston, I presume, moment here. Yeah, there's all kind of new stuff coming up in the area. Maybe because it's got sunlight here throughout the day. Maybe in a couple of years it'll be pretty good picking. It might be one of my regular patches. That's the thing, I always keep an eye out for new stuff. Well, the deer kind of paved me a trail here. It went that way. I see some new growth. Well, we got a vine. I'm stepping through an old patch pieces. Go this way. But this isn't an area in the shade where they grow too much. Although there's some here. See, these ones, they get morning sunlight a bit as it slants in, so they'll ripen up. Sunlight and rain grow the berries pretty good, but you need bits of both. I think you need more sunlight than rain. I like this area right here, like where we're in the shade and then you see a ring of sunlight around. And it's just like a nice arc, just about 8 feet away in the weeds. I particularly like that. And then this pal, down under the trees, the trails are easier to follow. They thicken up a bit though this time of year. Deer don't mind the dead vines hanging down, but I take them out. Then we got overhang branch here. I just duck under that one. Sorting things with this rig on is interesting. A few years ago, 2-3 years ago, there was a nice patch over here to pick. And it's kind of died out. Down this way, we work our way around. Oh, I see that grew over the trail right up here. Past this, I recognize this tree. And it doesn't quite look the same, but I know it's the same area. Because I can see the old vines that are dead. And there's a little bit here. But going up the hill right here, just looking at this little bit, was a little bit of raspberries, which a little bit more than this, maybe 4 times this, and a huge blackberry patch going up the hill about 12 feet. The blackberries are completely gone. I barely see remnants. And I can see the old raspberries here. There's one of them right there. That's one of the old ones. And it's just fading out. I think the shade got too much for it. Now, a little bit easier going here. I've been on this trail more recently and there's no underbrush. Ooh, I smell that wild beehive kind of smell. There's wild beehives out here somewhere. I found one time. It was in a dead tree, and in the wintertime another tree fell over, knocked it over, and the bees left. I was hoping they would stay. But they didn't like having their home interrupted. I had a wild beehive for a brief season. I think I found it in the summertime and it got knocked over in the winter. Windstorm came through. And oh, I'm actually going up the hill to this spot. I wasn't planning on going all the way up here. I know that going uphill the camera points at the ground more. Up here there was a little patch I discovered in 2016. It was the third one I discovered. I picked it 3 years, but then a couple of years ago it just faded out. And it's the same thing. There was a huge blackberry patch right in here, about 6 or 8 foot circle. And then right over here along this deer trail, there were berry roots coming across, and they made like a little thing. And now there was some down there, and now there's just these little bits left. Here's an old one. There's an old one, and there's a little bit, and it's hardly anything anymore. There's some up the hill, there's some up in there growing, but stopping by to pick one vine, once you're picking 5, 6, 10 buckets, one vine, if that's all there is, unless you're grabbing a couple on the way by, it's not really worth it. Okay, I think we're in stable territory. I'm taking these off. We need some face wipes. It's my one place where I have the natural chair that has been provided. I think I'll take a little break and have a sit down. Time check. We can glance into the one patch on the way by. I'll go by that other patch. So at this point, except for a couple of areas that are just tiny little areas or scatterings, I've seen every major patch I have, I think, that I know about. New ones grow. Okay. Got a place for my stick, place for my bucket. Oh, need the glasses so I can see. I got this one tree, my glasses are all clogged up. 40% battery, is it not charged? There's something about this battery pack that it just doesn't charge. I'm thinking about, can I even just set it here somewhere? Can I just set it here somewhere? Sometimes, switchy. I wonder why I'm down to, and I think my other camera might die before I can do my afternoon filming. I've got to, oh, that's the camera side. What's it there? Sometimes it's as simple as just wedging it into a tree. Whew, I'm being poked by my vine rope. Glasses are dirty. I don't usually bring glasses with me, but it's the only way I can see chat and operate the camera. Slightly better. Almost out of tea. I always make sure I have plenty of honey. So far today I had 5 berries. Usually at that point, within 2 hikes, I'll be picking about a bucket. Maybe 4 hikes, 8 days away from actually picking a few buckets, and 5 or 6 hikes I should be coming back with a big haul. The red berries I've seen, that's about how long it takes to really ripen up. They ramp up pretty quick. In the beginning it's like, well, there's 5 berries scattered all over the place. Then there'll be a half a bucket. Then there'll be a couple of buckets. And then I'll go out and just not stop picking. It'll just be 5 hours of picking berries, or 4.5 hours. At this point, besides clearing the trails, I just see it 1:30. Yeah. Let's see. Today I actually got started at 11:30. Yeah, it's, well, down there you don't get raspberries. I don't think you get blackberries either unless you grow them inside, because it's too hot most of the year. I tried taking bushes down when I come up and visit, and they'd never survive. They grow a little bit and then either they didn't get enough water or they just didn't like the heat. What's happening to my lighting there? Issues with the lighting engine. There's more light behind me in the trees. But right now, just forging some paths so I have, when I go picking, I'm not messing around cutting down stuff, and finding ways in, making the paths to get in, and just building up the stamina. This is about 2 hours today. I was hoping to get 3, 2.5. And that's a big jump up to 5 hours. Oh yeah, those little ones. Blackberries, yeah, strawberries should work. Strawberries, those are sweet. Strawberries are sweet, grapes are sweet. Raspberries and blackberries are tangy. They make a nice combination. The grapes don't start popping out until August, but one of the patches we have at the house was ones Mom bought, and they're ever-bearing, so I can eat some blackberries with the grapes, and it tastes really good. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, there was a place, I don't remember, somebody we knew, and they had tangerine trees. And we would just go pick like a bucket of tangerines and make tangerine juice. Oh, that's nice. And you can't just go to the store and buy tangerine juice either, hardly ever. I think I found it one time at like a Publix or something. And it's like, oh man, tangerine juice is awesome. They mix it with things. Like sometimes you'll get it mixed with something else, but pure tangerine juice? When the tangerines come in season, now I'm thinking about buying a few bags and just squeezing out the juice. That or the little, whatever the little mandarins or whatever they are. I bet those would be nice too. Yeah, I think when the berry picking season's over, someone I know down there, Angela, she's coming up to visit like in July. And I think after that, I'm just breaking off dead sticks that are pointing at my face. I think I'm going to take the Jeep up in the mountains and find a place to camp. Maybe on my friend's property. That's pretty nice. It's not too far out though. And I'm wondering if there's a further out place. That might be a good place to start though, because I haven't camped up there. I've done hiking up there. Because there's about a 1/4 mile away somebody has a farmhouse that they're at occasionally. So following my own advice, that's probably a good place to start camping out, and just take a couple of nights. Because I can park the Jeep there and hang my hammock. Of course, this is probably the ideal weather for it up there. I don't know how chilly. It might get down into the 50s at night. It's cooler up there. It's up about 700 more feet maybe. I think the peak is somewhere around 1,000 or 1,200. so up in that area is between 900 and 1,200 feet. There's some taller mountains. On the way to my uncle's, there's up in a couple thousand feet. None of the really tall stuff around here, though. There's a real nice breeze right now. Do I have any tea left? Take a little break, and then we'll go back by that one patch that I was in a couple days ago. The philosophy patch, the hiking philosophy patch. That patch is almost ready to pick. Got at least 5 different kind of birds I can hear. If there was some crows and some of them birds, that'd be 7. Sometimes hiking later at night when it's just getting dark, owls are flying around and they're so quiet. You just see a blob moving through the trees. You don't hear anything. I can hear one of the rare birds. It's pretty far away. Well, I think it's time to gig back up and finish the hike. Ooh, that's a nice view right there. You know, I'll be able to capture it out of the video. Note to self: go through the video and grab a screen cap of this. Okay, put this back on without killing the feed. Why you do me like that? There we go. Oh, I gotta power my thing. It says it's charging. I only got 33% left, and I turned everything off. All it's running is the cell data and stream elements. When I'm on the cell, I turned off Discord and everything. I got Wi-Fi off. No Bluetooth, so I have that off. The last time I did this, the battery pack's up all the way too. I wonder if it's the cable. It's not one of your dollar store cheapies. I'm really impressed that this little vine wrap has made it this far. Through 2 hours of hiking or so, an hour and 45. There's a nice rock. You don't always find nice rocks. There's rocks all over the place, but a nice rock? That's a unique thing to find. Woodpeckers are pecking holes. I bet this is a woodpecker pecking holes in this to get the insects out. Right down there, the little holes pecked into it. That'd be my guess if I had to decide what it was. Usually if I come in this way, I go out through the field. And if I come in through the field, I go out this way, but not always. The hiking pattern, or the picking pattern, is a little bit different. Because a lot of times I'll just go to one of the big patches and stay there all day. Once they hit peak, wow, this got tall. It's turning into a green tunnel. People want to go green? Here it is. I think I'll just glance down the hill and see if there's any. I see a lot of red berries. That one place I cut the wild rose bush in, that's going to be a good picking area. It's surrounded. Got some pokeweed here. Nice looking poke plant. I don't really like them growing in the berry patch either. They get real tall and then they fall over and crumple everything down. And if it's the old berries, it doesn't matter, but when it's the new ones, sometimes it messes them up. We'll poke down in here. It's good to keep the paths open. Oh, and I'm starting to get competition here. Ow, old one. The old stuff hurts. The new stuff, until it gets hard, not so bad. And it doesn't look like it's going to mess up your trail, but it grows up and then it falls down. Then you can't go through until you cut it. It's simple. You cut it off your trail now, or you cut it off your trail later. Your choice. I have adopted to the cut it now philosophy because it's always easier. You're not coming back to get me. Yep, I'll even move the bucket to get you out of my way. It's nice to have a fork on your stick. Oh, looks like deer had a little bed here it made. Yeah, if I can get into that, that'll be a nice picking area too, but I don't see anything ripe yet. Sometimes the first couple to ripen up, the birds get them or the animals get them. They find them. We got one more patch to, oh wow. I just got poked by a little sticker and it went in by the fingernail. And it's making a good bit of blood. Doesn't hurt much. I pulled it out. Just kicked it out real quick. I didn't think it went in that deep. One time I felt something on my foot by my big toe. Just a little itch. And I looked and there was a tick that was trying to go through the skin, but it ran into the toenail. Because it crawled along the toenail. Here's another spot. That was a fortunate thing. I don't like ticks too much. And everybody likes to talk about Lyme disease. I don't know how many people actually get it up here, but they sure like to talk about it. My walking stick is generally anointed by blood and berry juice after one season until I have to get a new stick. I don't know if I can see any of the old berry juice on this one. This looks like it'd be a good tree for a wild beehive. I don't see any though. You can see them coming and going if they're there. And then we have our little crabapple grove there. See, there's some berries growing up here, and then there's some down the hill, but these ones in the shade, I don't know how good they're going to do. Now down here we have a nice little patch. This just popped up in the last few years, but it's doing quite well. It's got this sunlight though a good portion of the day. And look at this one that goes all the way up here. That thing's got to be a good 8-10 feet long. It's got big berries. Will you sit there without spilling, Bucket? These are huge for raspberries. I don't know if it's focusing on those. Don't look like it's focusing right. I might not be able to get the focus with the chat, but these berries are huge for raspberries. And there's a lot. There might be a couple of containers to pick in here. Well, the bucket isn't as annoying as I thought it would be. I usually carry a canvas bag, but it lets things get bashed around and smushed up. And then when I don't have my seats, I always have a bucket to sit on. That's what I like most about the idea of carrying a bucket. When I'm tired, I've got somewhere to sit. Now there's been berries along in here. Oh, I think they're back that way. Where I lived, the last place I lived in Florida, 2 streets over, there was a huge mulberry tree. I mean, it must have been 30, 40 feet tall. And there were just tons of mulberries. The guy that owned the property I rented, he had a mulberry tree in his backyard. I would pick them. Okay. I know one way steps through the new raspberry patch. I'm just looking at, and vines are already clobbering this. It's down this way that avoids the raspberries, I think. Yep, this is the way to go. There's a little patch up in there hiding in the stuff that's growing up. It was a lot better. I first picked it 2018, I think. I discovered it at the end of 2017. That was its best year so far. Almost back. Almost at the conclusion of the hike. Maybe 10 minutes away. Got a nice maple tree. This doesn't look like it's... Does it look blurry? It looks blurry to me. Well, that's a little bit better. But why didn't you tell me it was blurry? Hiker's lurking. Alright. So the camera's been a little blurry. Well, I'll find out. I'll find out. I don't think it's been... It was clear when I was sitting down. And we got some new stuff. There's some stuff up here that looks nice. There's a little bit to pick in here. These always do really good. If you've got 10 of those, you got some decent picking. There's about 3 or 4 here. And new stuff. I like it when the new stuff's coming up. This is what they do. The root, down here you got the old one, then you got the new ones. If you leave the new ones alone, you got berries next year. Whoever's been lurking, thank you for stopping by, hiking with me today. You get to sit there in a comfortable chair with a computer or a cell phone or whatever, and I do all the hard work. But it's fun work. It's challenging, but the reward of the berry picking is very pleasant. The fresh berries taste so good. I've had 5 today, and I'm very pleased. Very thankful to have had 5 berries. It doesn't seem like a lot, but that's where it starts every year. There's one day I grab 1 berry, and a couple days later I get 5. And then the next thing you know, I'm picking whole buckets and freezing most of them. I think I freeze about typically 40 and I eat about 15 or 20. Somewhere in here I've got blonde raspberry vines, and I'm being clawed up by new blackberries. I'm hoping there are blonde berries in here. I see some berries down here in the... Wow, this stuff just comes up. I see some down in here, and I'm hoping those are the... I think those are the blondes. It disappeared on me. I'm being clobbered from behind, too. Okay. Yeah, I do that. End of the hike, I'm tired. I'll just reach forward to do something and throw the nippers on the ground. One thing it's also good to do is not leave dead stuff. Yeah. See, I don't know if you can see it, but I can tell because it doesn't have the purple tint. I don't know if that comes through. It's got a brownish green, and the regular raspberries have a purple tint. So that's the blondes. Oh yeah, I'll get to pick some blondes. They've been growing here since I made this trail this way, and I probably was eating one and dropped the seeds myself. Or the deer did it, or the birds. Deer eat this stuff and shit out the seeds, and they just start growing. Well, they're pre-fertilized, like a little seed packet. You can buy seed packs to grow your garden. Somebody gave me some. I'm going to try them out next year. There's a little vine down here. See, what I did in 2017 is I had my main picking days, and one day Mom washed all the berries and put them and froze them. So the next day after I ran, I came out and I just got a container. But this year, where I run, my new run spot that's been kind of set aside for me, there's berry patches. And I'm going to take one big container and see how many I can pick in like a half hour, 40 minutes after I run. And I'll really have fresh berries every day. Because one day they're fresh, and the next day they start to get refrigerator effect, I'll call it. They're not as good as the freshly picked ones are the best. But you can only really have them fresh for about 24 hours or so. Then they start to they refrigerate and lose some of that freshness. The grocery store ones are alright. I get the red ones sometimes, but they're nothing like the freshly picked ones. Because those probably been sitting in a cooler for who knows how long. How many weeks they've actually been picked. Might be a couple days, might be 2 weeks. And I don't think they can freeze the berries. Some things they freeze and then they thaw out to ship around. I think that's what makes some of the grocery store stuff taste bland. Either that or the way it's grown. My friend at the one theater in Florida says that they hydroponically grow them, the tomatoes, and that's why they taste bland if they don't come out of the garden. He's probably right. He knows a lot of stuff too. He's had an interesting career. He started out working for the Ringling Circus. He ended up being their master electrician for many years. And he knows all the circus people. There are a lot of circus people in Sarasota. They retire there, some of them. There's a little town north of there called Gibsonton that has a circus. Former circus community. A flyman I worked with for 10 years, he was from there. Pretty cool guy. Well, there's actually a couple raspberries right poked up the hill here. We're almost done here. The camera made it, I made it, the battery pack made it. I don't know why the battery's not keeping the camera charged as much today. But then I've had that with my older Droid Cam, where the battery works for a while and then it just stops keeping it charged. I'll watch some of this video after I'm done and see how much bouncy bounce I got. Lunchtime, if it's 2 to 3, it usually takes me about an hour for lunch and a half hour to get everything re-gigged. Hour and a half will be enough to charge up my other Droid cam for my main filming camera. I use the older one because it's not my cell phone. Its cell system doesn't work. I don't know what's wrong with it. But it makes a great studio camera. It's plugged into mains electric. It should be able to record. But I have a feeling the plug I chose to... I like to pop. This is my winter spot. I'll come in and poke in right here and then turn around and go back because it's cold. But we'll sit here a bit and look at my winter spot. A little break here on the way up the hill, midway up the hill home. So I went around to 3 different hillsides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 berry patch areas today. I think all counted, if I count every little berry spot, there's close to 50. They're not all pickable. I could go around in the wintertime. I could probably get some software from my phone and actually map them out. I was thinking, because the satellite photos are years behind. I look at the satellite photos and half of this is in here. I might take a look to see if they grabbed one last summer. And I could actually map out my trails and everything with the GPS software if I wanted to use it. I might do that just to have a map, like an RPG map of my adventures out here. That'd be kind of cool. This is my wintertime when the field's not that high. I have a trail that cuts right around and goes through here. The deer use it. That's my main wintertime trail. Summertime, I just walk around. It's hard slogging through that field once the vines and the weeds start growing. Up here, I'm flip the camera around because the whole respect the neighbor's privacy and everything. I suspect I could probably ask them if it's okay to film and they'd say yes. Well, you're actually going to be looking at my chin. This doesn't... Oh, I can take off the vine that worked so well. It's actually not coming loose. Wow. This vine is something else. There it goes. This was my strap for this. Let's see where the power pack's at. It seems like 34%. It actually caught up a little bit. We got some doggo action. There we are. I don't know how easily I can do this. Doggos must be out. We'll sneak through. Doggos have good hearing though. They don't know where I'm at. Well, they might have an idea. They have good hearing. They got goats and horses. A horse and 3 goats, I think. Goats will come visit sometime. They're pretty cool. My other neighbor gives them his dog treats occasionally. Now they pester him. Well, hey, you started feeding them. You want an animal to be your friend? Feed it. That'll start the thing. That'll start the ball rolling. I got his chickens down here. When I'm picking berries, the first time I gave them some berries. Now they'll come over and say, hey, you got berries? And usually chickens, if chickens don't know you, if animals don't know you, they'll run, generally. Except for certain, like dogs and cats, once they're really used to humans. But the ones closer to nature, their first instinct is to run. I don't have to film all the way back. Walk through some stuff, I think, some cobweb or something. But it's easier than ungigging everything and turning the cam off at this point. Get back to civilization here. We can turn here in a second and look at how beautiful it is. I always look at this on the way back. I always stop and take a look. My neighbor's home. He must not be out. I'm trying to balance my thing here. And this is my little picking paradise. I always stop and look at this, and sometimes I take a picture. Look how beautiful the clouds, those little wisps of clouds are. It's all back there. We're almost down here. I'm going to see if my nature cam's dead. I gotta be quiet. It's Mike. Will pick up any noise you make. It's supposed to be a nature cam. Natural environment. It's got the traffic though. I had it out here one time and it was fine, but it was this one. That looks dead. Alright, I'm here in the sunlight. Let me see. That's the camera side. Thank you for watching Hiking with 6. I'll be back on later with my usual afternoon tea, maybe some video games or something. Be seeing you.